Welcome to DROD Scripting. This is your host Maurice, and today we're going to cover the very basics of scripting in DROD. But before we go to that, I would like to show you something.
There are some places for Budkins to be, and this isn't one of them. You've delved too deep. We want you to go home.
When I figure out what's going on, maybe...
And what you have just seen is only the tip of the iceberg, just so you know it. If you learn the scripting in DROD, you'll be able to create things like that and even more. It only takes some knowledge and some patience. So I'm going to cover the very basics of the scripting in DROD in this video. So the first thing you need, very first thing you need to know is where to find the character. Character is a monster which you place, and you can place only one character at the same time, like this. You can't make a rectangle and fill it with characters. And the character is available on the monster tab at the very end of the list of monsters. After you place a character, you will see a customize character window which allows you to provide a script. You can drag the character around by clicking on it, dragging the mouse and releasing on the target square. You can change the orientation of the character in two ways. You can either change the orientation, click the character OK, and it's changed, or you can just drag it to a new position and it will automatically adjust the facing of the character to the orientation you had set in the editor. Okay, we don't need you for now, so let's go and cover the customize window. Customize character window. So the main heart of your script is this part, comments. It's the script that will execute in the character in the room. There is the visibility toggle. When a character is visible, it will be seen in the room, it will interact with other monsters in the room, and it will occupy physical space. If you make it invisible, it will not occupy the space, it will not be visible, and it will not interact with the monsters in the standard way. So it won't block their movement, it won't occupy a space, and you will be able to move multiple characters into the same tile if you need to, as long as they're invisible or the character you are moving is invisible. This is going to work. And we want our character to be visible, so we're going to stick to this one. Now this is the type list. This allows you to choose the graphic of the character and some capabilities of it. First of all, the type you choose will determine the way the character looks, but it also will determine some statistics like Wuba won't be killable. When you go with Slayer, the character will own a hook. If you go with Bithrow, it will wield a sword. The same goes for guard or soldier. Some of the characteristics of monsters are present in the basic roles, but most of them are not. If you make a character looking like half, don't expect him to go to open the gates if you push them, if you knock on them. In the same way, an evil eye will be active all the time. Let's see. Wraithwing will be able to fly, so it won't fall into a pit. Seep will be able to move through walls. But basically, you have to assume that most of the characteristics are the same. Now, there's also the character management window, which allows you to create custom characters and share scripts between characters. Provide them with an avatar and the tile graphic, a custom one. It's an advanced topic, and we are not going to talk about it right now. There's the options, which allows you to set the processing sequence And processing sequence tells the game at what point in the turn is this character going to act. It's not important right now, it's also an advanced topic. Just so you know, in almost all cases, by default, the character moves last. After all other monsters, after Bithrow, after temporal projections, mimics, Vegandos, stalwarts, slayers, guards, monsters, engineers, citizens, and fluff. After everything. Okay, let's cancel. And there's also the delete comment button and add comment button. And I'm going to cover this in a bit more detail later, in a few minutes. Alright. Now I'm going to show you the script in execution, before I even explain what it does. You're just going to empirically experience the script yourself.
I'm standing! Yes, you are. Isn't it great?
So, on the 0th turn, and if you don't know what it means, 0th turn is the moment you enter the room, but before you move for the first time. Some things happen during that time, for example, you can stab things in the moment, although it happens silently. Bombs are prevented from exploding, and also one of the important things is that characters execute their scripts, but not all the commands. We'll go into that a bit later. So the first thing that happened was a speech. First the SIP, then the Bithrow, and then the SIP spoke again. Now the script will wait for 5 turns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the SIP is going to move from this position to this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It took it 8 turns to move. And after it enters the target square, it's going to speak again. I moved! And that's it. That's the script we have made. So now let me explain line by line what the script does. We have speech self, which means the speech will happen, and the character or monster or person speaking is the character itself. Then the player speaks. If you choose player, it will make the player speak regardless of how it looks. So if the player is looking like, I don't know, Wuba, it will be still the player speaking. And then again is the character saying, isn't it great? Then there's a line which tells the character to wait for 5 turns. During this time, this character is not able to act in any other way. There's no way to just stop, wait, and do something else. No, if you tell it to wait 5 turns, it's going to wait 5 turns. 5. Not 4, not 6. Although it can wait 6 times if you stun it. It's not important right now. Then it will move to square 1920, and as you can see, it's this square. Afterwards, it just speaks again, and the execution stops. Now let me tell you exactly, but not in too much detail, how the engine works. So we start on the first line. On the 0th turn, we are only executing a subset of commands. So speech is one of the commands that can be executed on 0th turn. So the character will speak, I'm standing, then the execution will go to the next line, which will be run. Yes, you are. Go to the next line, run it, isn't it great? Go to the next line, and wait 5 turns is also a command that starts on the 0th turn. So at the moment, the script just remembers, okay, I'm going to wait 5 turns, and on the next turn, after our first move, it will reduce the counter from 5 to 4. Okay, now I'm going to wait 4 turns, and this happens 4 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, yes, it happens 4 more times. Afterwards, on the next move, the script goes from this line to the next one. And the next command is move to 1920. This line is going to execute until the character reaches its destination. And this command can only execute on real turns. So if I had something like this, you'll notice that the character stayed in place. It will move now, but on the 0th turn it didn't move. That's a very important thing to know, and in the later videos I'm going to go into detail how exactly this mechanic works, which commands are blocking and which are not, but let's not cover this right now. So let's move it back. And after the character reaches its destination, this command stops executing, and on the next turn it will go forward it will execute I moved, and after I moved is executed, after the last line of the script runs, the script stops execution. There's no way for this script to do anything ever again. It just stopped. It's not going to do anything. So if you want your script to not stop forever, you need to prevent it from reaching the end. That's a very basic information. So to reiterate, we start here. On each turn we go to the next line, unless a comment is not blocking. It can then run multiple lines in a single turn. You can even run hundreds or thousands of lines in a single turn if you need to. It's possible, as long as all of them are not blocking the execution of the script. It will move to the wait, then to the move, then speech again, and afterwards the script ends. And that's the very basic of scripting. Now, the last thing we're going to cover in this video is the add comment window. In this window, or define script comment, whatever, it's add comment here, I don't care. Define script comment. The left half, well, left 1/3 of the window is occupied by the list of actions you can add, and the remaining space will be used for providing the arguments for these functions. For example, build requires you to decide what you want to build. Speech has this whole big lot of things. Let's see. Attack tile allows you to choose with what weapon you want to attack the tile. But that's not all. For example, attack tile. First you choose the weapon you want to use to attack. Let's go with stab. But after you click OK, you're supposed to choose the square you want to attack. For example, you can choose the square occupied by the player, and if you leave it like this, the player will be attacked after the wait ends. Some comments require you to decide on an area. If you want to build thin ice, you have to tell the game on what area to build it, like this. And it was built. And let's see. Some comments do not require you to choose anything. Some of them will be even more complex, like image overlay, where you provide some strategy for the display of the image, and afterwards you need to select an image from the list of imported media. Let's see. So, as I said, some will require you to provide an area, but there are also a lot of comments which do not take any arguments. For example, appear. It just makes... Basically, what it does is it just toggles the visible flag of the character. If my character was invisible, making it appear after the 5 turns will make it visible again. And as you can see, an invisible character, its space can be occupied. And if I wait enough, it will wait for the tile to be empty before it appears again. Like this. I moved away and it appeared. So at the moment, after the 5 turns ended and it's trying to appear, the execution is stopped until the condition of the comment is satisfied, which happens as soon as I move away. Also, my weapon blocks the character from appearing. So that's the very basic information about scripting in DROD. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. I'm mixing comments with comments. Ask them in YouTube comments if you have any questions. Feel free to leave a comment if you want to say thanks or do you have any issues with the video. Don't forget to like the video because it shows me you're enjoying it. And see you next time in the next video. Bye bye!